And yes, I have the full team with me standing by today. But first, let me start with Mr. Ruben Kalu, who's with us right here in the studio. A beautiful afternoon to you, sir.
Good afternoon, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, so for people who don't know, Mr. Ruben is somebody who's passionate about seeing the businesses grow, seeing SMEs grow and SMEs get to a whole new level. Now, let's talk about the journey so far. Mr. Ruben, how has it been for you so far so good as someone who loves seeing small businesses grow with the current situation in the country? How has it been, really?
Yeah, I want to thank God that it's been fine. There's a lot of recently there have been a lot of programs supporting SME. Just this Monday, we're Unilag. We're about to kickstart I2M, that's Innovation to Market,
Okay.
a UKAID project for businesses,
Amazing
researchers, businesses. They're going to be giving money, giving grants to business owners. So it's been an interesting. That's one of them. And across the world, there are a lot of funding. So we're encouraging young people to go and dream, go and create something, create something, and bring an innovation. And one thing innovation does, if you're creating something, find a way to have tech around it. Put tech to it. If it is food, put tech. If it is drinks, put tech. If it is farming, put tech. Do you understand? Because somebody is gonna fund it. You know why? Because once you put tech, it can reach a global view. Do you understand? If you're selling food by your backyard, it's only those in the backyard that you can be able to reach.
Amazing.
The ones that is stake, people in Enugu, people in everywhere, critical mass. So, and funders would like to fund such things.
Amazing stuff. So you had that one, put tech to everything. A little bit of tech here and there in every business you're doing.
That's right.
Will go far and make people want to fund that very business. Now today on the show, we'll be touching on improving the Nigerian export sector, things that needs to be done. And I have on the phone, with me, Mrs. Florence, the Chief Trader Promotion Officer at the CTPO, at the Export Association right here in Nigeria, and also Jaya Joseph Uche, the Acting National Secretary, NACPDEAN, and also the Tiloye, the Continental himself, the Executive Secretary of the Produce Export Development Association, that's the PDA. A beautiful afternoon to you people on the phone with me. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yes.
Good afternoon.
Yes, good to have you here. Mr. Aditilo, can you hear me? Okay. All right. Everybody is standing by with me. Let me start with you, Mrs. Florence, because they say ladies first. Now, what do you think are the challenges facing the Nigerian export industry right now? Aside every other challenges we've highlighted, aside the education, aside funding is very important. What are the modern challenges that you see? Because you are one of the experts when it comes to the export industry in Nigeria. You see things on a daily basis. What do you think are the most common challenge right now facing the Nigerian export industry?
Yeah, good afternoon. Thank you very much for having me. Yeah, there are so many challenges really right now. One of them is rejection of our products, even though it's not that certified. Products at our borders of important countries for several reasons, bordering on quality and standards.
Okay.
That I had also talked about earlier before now. Exporting regulated products without recourse to NAFDAC processes. Even when some products they are regulated, you see people wanting to export them without taking inquiry either from us as Export Promotion Council or from from NAFDAC or any other important source. They just want to do export because they see other people doing it. Then again, non-integration of export certificate as requirements for processing NEXIM form on CBN portal. Some people they don't know these things are very important. When you don't have this form, you cannot process your NEXIM or whatever you're exporting is not recorded. Non-joint inspection of regulated products at the export terminal of port. ineffective monitoring of all export terminals. You know, there are terminals, like if you go to NACO, for instance, you know, NACO, you know, these things, they are not regulated. People come with all kinds of products to want to export and all that. Then even those who are going through the sea, going through work as in the rough area, you will find out that some will even be on the road before they even get, you know, these our staff practices is not helping to export. That's one of the problems we are also having. Inadequate awareness of export processes by stakeholders. A lot of stakeholders are very important. They are also supposed to know these things and all that. And if you don't do it professionally, if you do things unprofessionally, you certainly will have challenges. So these are major challenges we are having right now as a country. You understand?
Okay. Thank you very much for that. Mr. Ajitulu, are you there?
Yes, I am.
All right, awesome. And now, to you, you're an expert when it comes to the agric and the produce and stuff like that. Now, what do you think are the challenges farmers are facing presently in Nigeria when it comes to the agricultural sector in the export industry?
All right, thank you very much, Michael, for this question. Right, I represent Produce Export Development Association. And one of the major challenges that you would find amongst producers, right, and exporters is the high cost of production from Nigeria, right? The cost of production in Nigeria is very high, right? It's higher than most other countries. One of the things that are responsible is the small order nature of the production that goes into agriculture or horticulture in Nigeria. Another thing that also goes into it is the high cost of inputs. Most of all our inputs are imported into the country, making it a lot more like expensive to produce in the country. We have our infrastructure, local logistics infrastructure in the country is not fully developed, is not as developed as it should, that would help us leverage the economics of scale behind what we want to do. And more critically than all of these factors that I mentioned is the fact that as much Nigerian farmers, Nigerian exporters are not playing to our comparative strength, meaning that we are focusing on products that we don't have as much comparative advantage, in producing as other countries. So there are some products, for instance, that will probably yield 2 tons per hectare, 3 tons per hectare for a Nigerian farmer. Meanwhile, you will get probably 30 tons per hectare, somewhere else. Now remember that export is a volume game. You are competing on a global scale. I think that putting all of this in mind, you know exactly where our challenges lie and where we need to start focusing on the results. What I see as a way out from all of this is that at some point in time we start to look into value addition. This is where we can start to play heavily on. Nigeria exporters, producers should not be exporting basic products, commodities. No, because we're not good at it. What we can be good at, what we can be the best in the world at, is using what we currently have, adding value to it in a way that no other country can do, and we pushing out this thing in large volumes. I recommend that we start as a country start to focus on very creative, innovative value addition process. Someone has mentioned that there are grants available. I actually agree to it. We need to start developing good governance structure so we can access all these grants. These are my takes this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that. Still stay with us. This is the Export Summit right here on radio. For those of you just tuning in, this is the show where we get to dissect and get to analyze the export industry right here in Nigeria. Mr. Ruben Kalu is still with me live right here in the studio, who is a business development expert when it comes to small-scale businesses in this part of the world. Now, how can Nigerian businesses identify and capitalize on export opportunities in the current market?
Okay, identify and capitalize.
Yes.
Okay, I mean, it's there. What I encourage SMEs to do is to live in a community. Don't live in isolation.
Okay.
If you're in a community, as opportunities are coming, they drop you within the community so everybody can, take advantage of. You understand? So in that way, you can be able to identify, because these things are there. But if you're living alone, like I said, obviously you'll be alone.
If you're living alone, you will be alone. So live in a community, be in that community, understand what the community is like at this very time. Now, still talking to you, what strategies can businesses implement to overcome challenges in the in exporting their products and services? So as a business person, as someone who is an expert and helping SMEs grow, what do you think are the things that these people can do that would actually help them?
Okay, Madam Florence has mentioned a couple of them, then the last speaker as well. So it's still the same problem. The problem of processing, standardization, documentations, and all of that. So we'll have to continue to emphasize that an SME should get an education. There's nothing you can do if you don't have an education. You will not be successful around it. Do you understand? Anything you want to do, get information. Find the best place, the right place where you can get information and you can be mentored. Because if you can't just run this thing all by yourself. People say, yeah, it's lucrative. Yeah. It's not as easy as you can say. And like we said, if it is difficult, it means there's value there.
Value there.
Do you understand? So that's my encouragement. Let them go get education and
very important. Mr. Robert is somebody that is headbound on education. Get the education and improve yourself. Hello, Mr. Joseph.
Yeah. I'm online.
All right. Now, a question to you right now. Cultural differences is one very important thing when it comes to export. Now, how do you think, or do you think it's important for those exporting from Nigeria to other countries to understand the culture of the country they're exporting to before they venture into that business?
Yes, it's necessary for you to understand their culture, but it is not mandatory. Okay, I will tell you why it's not mandatory. There's a universal standard for every product.
Okay,
which is not majorly determined by their culture, but because there's a value that is expected, and that value that is expected is universal for everyone. Whether you are a Chinese, you are an American, what is good, and what is fair is fair. Okay? Now, let me give you an instance why it calls a call culture. In terms of ginger, there's a standard that is known worldwide. It is called ASTA. Now, this ASTA means American Standard Version. Okay, someone in China, India, or Europe wants to demand for it, that is what he's going to demand for, irrespective of the culture originating from America. But because the standard is perceived to be the best standard of dry split ginger, they will demand for it. So, as much as you learn to understand their culture, the basic thing is for you to understand the required standard, the standard that is competitive in the world market, because it's a global village. So once your standard is able to meet international standard, why not? You can sell. So you can beat the culture of the other economy that you're exporting to.
All right. Thank you very, very much for that, Mr. Joseph. Madam Florence, are you there with me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right. Now, this is for you. What improvement can be made to infrastructure to enhance the export capabilities in Nigeria presently? What do you think are those infrastructural improvements that can be made and should be made?
Yes, so many of them, especially something like power. All these SME manufacturing is not that easy. And the price of fuel right now, how expensive it is, even diesel and the rest of them. So if there is improvement in power for people to be able to produce the little they can for that also will help. Also, another thing, good roads. for easy access to the work of various where they could export their tools. For instance, if you're seeing something to work here is late, or for Harcourt or Calabar, wherever, they usually have an access to even the tool. It's easier for people from Switzerland to bring their goods to wherever they are going to take the things, unlike that use that we have in some areas and the rest of them. There's also what is called which is Semantic Export Warehouse. It's a kind of one-stop shop developed by NDC and other stakeholders.
Okay.
What it means is people, ability of people to have you come to a particular warehouse where you have all these agencies. You know, the agencies from Sun to NAFDAC to NPC to the rest of them, even the customs. You understand? When you have them, they check your goods at your warehouse, seal it, then you move your goods from there to the warehouse to port. Not when you get to the road, one person will stop you and say, I want to check what you have, and from John, and from that, for the rest of them. So all these are new improvements from NPC and other stakeholders in business of the export. So I strongly believe that if most of these things are made available, standing power, people back to power, like I said earlier, a lot of us need to be able to do so many things that we can ever imagine.
Thank you very, very much for that one. For those of you just tuning in, this is the Export Summit right here on radio, where we get to bring the world of export very, very close to you, understanding everything you need to know when you want to venture into the export business. What products should you export? What services should you render? And things like that. Very, very important. Mr. Adetiloye, are you there with me? Can you hear me? All right, we'll try to reconnect with Mr. Adetiloye Continental. We'll try to see if we can get him back up here to get to talk to us. Now, let's talk about market research. Mr. Ruben, who's live here with me. Market research, analyzing the market, the present Nigerian market. How important is market analysis for a startup in Nigeria currently?
It's very important, actually. Where feasibility is concerned. You don't just bring a product to the market and expect that it's going to sell. It's important that you try to conduct a feasibility report. Do run a survey. You can even get data. You can buy data. You understand, and analyze for yourself to be able to understand. What do people feel about a product vis-a-vis the competitors. You understand. For instance, we've done something for Ovaltine, and we'll have to look across the choco drinks. That's like the Milos, the the Carbels and the rest. We need to be able to see how, what do people say about that, and what are their preferences, and also why. You understand? We've had opportunity of removing a product from the market. I don't want to start mentioning brands here right now. So a product didn't do well in Nigeria. It was removed because people kept complaining about an aftertaste. It's a drink. So we have to advise the company to see this product is not doing well in Nigeria. So there's no amount of campaign, budget you need to waste around these products. You can actually remove the product and bring a better one, and which they did. They were able to bring a far better product, and it is doing very well in the country right now.
Amazing stuff. Mr. Joseph, are you there?
Yeah.
All right. Now, according to reports, the non-oil export in Nigeria as at 2023 was quite fantastic. Increased to $2.2 billion. Dollars in 2023. Now, do you think it's time for us to move our focus from anything that has to do with oil, both crude, both palm, any kind of oil? Do you think it's time for us to dive our attention to something else? And if yes, what product do you think can be sellable? If no, why?
Yes, it is long overdue for us to move away from oil. In the 80s, such efforts would have been made by the government to move Nigeria away from mono income or revenue nation, just oil, because we have other potential. Even before the advent of oil, we've been able to make tremendous giant strides in exporting other agro commodities. You know, because you make deliberate efforts to shift your economy from where you are to another place. I'll give you an instance what happened in Dubai. In the past 20 years, they sat down and thought of diversifying their economy. Okay? Now, after 20 years, they make more money from tourism than the oil. These are contemporaries who enjoy the oil money over the time. Now, the good part is that we need to open our eyes and see beyond this oil, because this oil is not doing much for us. I give you an instance. Our revenue from oil is between 18 and 23 billion dollars a year.
Yes.
Now, countries like Indonesia, Vietnam, Malaysia are making exports of produced goods for over $240 billion per annum. So what are we talking about? So it is long overdue that we look away from this oil, and the only good thing that the oil had offered to us, it created an opportunity for us to be able to raise funds and diversify our economy. But unfortunately, our past leaders have not been able to utilize such opportunities. So, if there's anything that we would have done yesterday, is to diversify the economy, look away from oil, look at production, look at agriculture. I'm particular about agriculture because we have comparative advantage over this thing. Now you see that we have uncultivated land of over 75%. Now you can imagine that we utilize this land. We as a country can feed the whole of the world from our produce. But unfortunately, what are we doing? In the map of agro exports, we are not there. And believe me, people are saying we are not adding value, It's because we have not been able to make enough production. If I tell you now that our production jumps up from where it is by a 50%, there will be a backward integration, and the best of that backward integration will give back to adding value to the existing products, and that will, in one way or the other, enhance our revenue. Then this nation will not be at these roots that we are today. So it is necessary for us to make a deliberate effort and move away from this oil that we have depended on. We have depended on it for so long.
Time for a move away. Mr. Adetilo, you're welcome back. Are you there with me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Yes, clear enough. Good to have you back here with us. Yes. Now, what are the key markets for Nigerian agricultural exports, and how can they expand into new markets? Are there new markets available? How can they expand into them?
All right, thank you very much. I think that for agricultural exports in general, we find out that we, as a country, trade more with the eastern parts of the world, right? And that's for several reasons. Sometimes it has to do with the standard quality of our produce. Sometimes it just is probably just the ease of entry into those markets. However, what we're starting to see now is a lot of opening up Nigerian produce. All right. What important indicators of this is the fact that our diaspora market has grown significantly, and it has grown towards the Western countries, that is the United States, Canada, the UK, Europe in general. You find out that our initial diaspora market and they're inventing food choices and food culture wherever they've been. And you find out that there's demand, natural demand from all of that. What has not happened is that we're not really leveraged on this, this demand. And we start looking at how can we break into the European market? How can we break into this market? Might not very easy to break into because of we need to be place to look at.
Amazing, amazing. All right, thank you very, very much for that diverse opportunity in this very industry. Back to you, Mr. Ruben. Let's hear your experience. Pitfalls a whole lot of businesses should avoid in year 2024. Have you had any experience with any business that went through any significant pitfall and survived? What are those things?
Yeah, there are a lot of pitfalls. You can see the economy itself is a pitfall, right? The dollar is a problem, you know, because almost everything you use to do business, like he mentioned earlier, they have to come from abroad. You understand? And you know, I mentioned about having tech, the cloud thing, it's abroad, and it's becoming more expensive. Why? Because of the dollar. Okay, the price is stable, the same price, but over time, that same price is no more the same price in your local currency.
Okay.
So it's a pitfall, and also one of the challenges with the SMEs is the fact that they place more on markets. Their marketing is not very, disruptive, and they are very ignorant of grant opportunities that are around the world. You understand? NGO leads and the whole lot. There are so many. Almost every big company we know in Nigeria has an NGO, right?
Yeah.
Mastercard has this. A lot of them. Google has, and each time they have a budget. I mean, if Google makes 100 naira. There is a percentage, 1% of what they make, they put into their NGO. And it's for SMEs to take advantage of, where you can share your innovation. Two things: if you check Google, almost all the product they have, they are not their own. They only have the Gmail. YouTube is somebody's idea they bought over. The same thing for Meta. You understand? And so many companies, but SMEs don't know all of these things. They lack that kind of information, and we have a lot of bright people around this part of the world. You understand? Very intelligent people, but there's nobody that is holding them. There's no hand holding. You understand? To say, okay, come and it's not like come and apprentice here, so that you can know the route to the market. And those are one of the things we are doing a thorough brainstorming of how do we incubate. You need to accelerate also, and you need to be able to bring the industry people. Okay,
to the forefront.
Young people should not be designing a product and nobody's buying. Why not have a forum where a company can come and tell you what their problem is? Because every company has their unique problem, right? You need to listen to them. They tell you, these are our problems, so what do you do? Now the young people will just go and solve the problem. Simple. And once you solve the problem, two things: it's either the company buys it over from you, or they invest in you. So I mean, that's one of the things, because we actually had a very we discussed it at length. We were like, even because researchers, lecturers, they do a lot of research work, and it does not find itself into the market. It ends in the shelves. Do you understand? And most of them have fantastic ideas because they are around the books. Okay, unlike other set of entrepreneurs that are just they do what they call, in quote, hustling. Do you understand? But this whole thing can be mediated if these things can be sorted out. It's quite easy
if you put your mind to it and do the proper research, get out there, solve a problem, and things will definitely come to you. Money would come when you solve a problem. Before we wrap things all up, Mrs. Flores, are you there with me?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, yes, one final word before we wrap things all up. What are some strategies to promote Nigerian products in the international market? What are those strategies that needs to be put in place to help promote Nigerian products in the international market?
Yeah, there are too many of them, especially from end here in the
Yes.
Nigerian Export Promotion Council.
Yes.
We do a lot of trade, we go for international trade fairs.
Okay.
And if we are going, we help exporters bring their products and we look at it to see if they conform to the quality and standards of the country we are going for that fair.
Okay.
For those we choose those who witness such whatever it is. Then when we take them to those fairs, and these fairs, it's not just for them to sell that product there. For them to be able to get contact where they could do real export, not just selling the small they came with, because it's just 100 kg that will be listed for you to that country.
Okay.
Again, we get for trade exhibitions, trade shows to other countries. The trade shows are just Nigeria alone on such shows. This kind of thing they do is carry Nigerian products, maybe from the road or a particular pavilion. Everybody that will be there are just made in Nigerian products in that country. So when you come into the pavilion, you will see that everything you see there are Nigerian products. And it is expected as such shows that the people who will come, expected importers from that country, we see goods that they will say, okay, I'll need it in physical terms, not just more saying that they will buy rice. These are trade exhibitions and the rest of them. These are ways the Nigeria Export Promotion Council does these things to be able to promote international trade
Amazing.
for Nigeria.
Hello, Mr. Adetiloye, are you there?
Yes, I can hear me.
Okay, yes, I can hear you clearly at this very time. We talk about innovation as we get to wrap things all up. We talked about innovation, or we're still talking about innovation in Nigeria right now. Do you think Nigerian farmers are ready to embrace tech at this present moment? How learned is an average Nigerian farmer to embrace tech and embrace these things to make their products very, very good while planning on exporting?
All right, thank you very much. This is a very critical question, and I might have a very controversial stand on this, right?
Okay.
I think that for most in agriculture, and we would actually testify. Technology is not really about the technology itself, but actually about the solution that technology provides.
Okay.
And we all know that technology is an enabler. It's an enabler of already existing infrastructure. So you're literally building a technology on an existing infrastructure. Sadly, in agriculture, that's
Okay, Mr. Adetiloye, just hold it right there. You're breaking out. I think we'll deliberate on that come next week, because the network is really, really acting up right now.
all right.
All right. Okay.
Follow us on Instagram, Product Export Development Association.
Okay.
All right, we now understand what you're doing, make it better. Search us on Instagram, PEDA, PEDA, Produce Export Development Association. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much for that. Produce Export Development Association, PEDA. Go check them out on Instagram right now, so you can get to understand a whole lot when it comes to produce export in Nigeria. One last word from you, Mr. Ruben, before I let you go.
SME should get education. Okay, so and Trade and Exports Africa is offering training to SMEs that are willing to learn, to get capacity before they can engage in exports. So you can visit the website tradeandexports.africa.
All right, tradeandexports.africa. That's the website you can get to visit. Ms. Florence, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
All right, one final word from you, ma'am, before we let you go.
Okay, for you, it's good for you to be a good exporter. You need to register with Nigerian Export Promotion Council. It's www.nepc.gov.ng. It's online. You don't need to come to our office to do that. Just get your papers right, your CAC, your particulars of directors, article and memorandum of association of your company, the letter from the board of your company. You are just good to go. You can pay online, whichever means you choose to pay, when you do all that, you pick your certificate by yourself. You don't need to be in an office.
Okay.
But if you're doing it and you have any challenge, there are numbers where you can reach out to those numbers and they will attend to you.
All right. Thank you very, very much. www.nepc.gov.ng. Do that right now. Go there and register if you want to venture into the export industry. If you're not registered there, you're still doing it the illegal way. Thank you so much, sir, for coming around. Thank you to everybody who was online with us on the show today. Don't forget, every Thursday from the hour of 1 o'clock all the way down to 1:45 p.m., we get to do this talking about the Export Summit right here on radio. My name is Von Michael. Stay with me. The switch continues right here. Jordan 105.5 FM. Time for us to pay some bills. We'll be back.
Introduce